Hey, Lori.
Hey, Dory.
What you doing?
Tasting some wine.
Me too. You know what?
What?
I'm kind of lonely without you here.
It's kind of sad. I'm lonely at my apartment without you, too.
Lori and Sean moved out of the big old ivory tower up on the hill in Draper and
into a tiny little apartment.
Yep, and everybody, cozy. Yeah, and everybody left this week, and I've been home alone, and it's been great. But I'm kind of lonely I'm jonesing for my Lori.
Yeah, I know we're gonna go through withdrawals totally, but you've got a lot of quiet time, and that's been good for you as much as you can. When you're not running.
Well, I just kind of filled this week up with busyness, so I wish I wouldn't have. But
it's going to hit. Reality's going to hit probably when you get back.
Oh, yeah.
Because she's taking off to go to Hawaii for a week.
Yeah, Sunday to Sunday.
Yeah, so for about a week.
Again.
And then
Hawaii again.
Yeah. I'm so jelly.
I'm sorry. I lived that life.
I know.
I'm lucky.
I just want to go. I've never been to Hawaii. So I'd like to go one time. No, never.
Oh my gosh, my cousin told me that the other night. She had never been. And I know a lot of people haven't been. I guess I'm just been very fortunate. I started going in the 80s.
Yeah.
I was 19 the first time I went over there.
Well, John's been there. Yeah. His family used to go there every year. Or at least his mom and dad went every year, and they take the kids sometimes. But I have never been, so we're going to have to make a little trip there.
You're listening to Fit and Hippie with Dory and Lori. The show is about the show that covers the show that gets into
exactly. All right, Dory, here we are again, and we're going to talk about a conversation that I had the other day.
With who? It wasn't me.
I'm not going to say who it was, but it was a very interesting conversation, and it just spawned a lot of thought for me. We were talking, he actually told me a quote by Albert Einstein. That we kind of were talking about all kinds of things. He gave me this quote, and it said, there are two things that are infinite, the universe and men's stupidity, but I'm not sure about the universe.
I love that.
It is funny. It made me laugh because sometimes we are just like, oh my gosh, driving in traffic or whatever it is, you're thinking, what is the matter with that person? But it was interesting because he went on talking about intelligent people and IQs and all this, and I'm listening. I love to hear people's stories. I love to hear what they're talking about.
Me too.
So I always learn a lot of things. I was listening to him, and as he was talking, I realized that I have no idea what my IQ is.
I don't think I do either. I've done those APGAR tests, and if that's what it's called. No, that's the test. That's what they give the children. Babies.
I did my APGAR test.
And I passed it. No, but I've done like those, the college tests where they do what you're good at, like if you're creative or if you're more like,
which is different than an
introvert
IQ
or whatever.
Test, I think.
Yeah, so I've done those tests, and I did some sort of a. I guess it was kind of the same thing. It wasn't necessarily an IQ test, but I did it with it's Roger Hamilton has this test that you can come out and it'll tell you what you're good at. So it's kind of the same thing, but it does talk a little bit about your IQ, and IQ being your area of expertise in these certain areas. So not our total IQ.
I love that, though.
Yes.
I love that you have a higher intelligence in certain things.
In certain things. It could be emotional, it could be creativity, it could be physical, it could be spiritual.
Well, and even like people who are very mechanical have a very high IQ in mechanical things. They may not have a high IQ in
emotions,
world events, or history, but their IQ is very high in what they can do with their hands.
Right.
I love that.
You're talking about total IQ, like what they would test to see where you are. Like, are you a genius level, or are you dumb as you know what down here?
And it's funny because he may have quoted some numbers, but it means nothing to me.
Yeah, I don't know what
your IQ can be 500,000. I mean, and I'd be like, okay, is that good or bad? I don't know. It's kind of like saying your white blood cell count is 55.
Right. So
and
I'd be normal. Yeah.
I'd have no base for information.
You'd need the chart that says here's what's normal.
Exactly.
So,
same with IQ.
Yeah.
It's like Okay, so I have no idea what is smart and what isn't when you give me a number for an IQ. I just don't know. I've never paid attention.
My IQ is 121.
I don't know if that's really good. High. I think it's 2-digit number. Yeah, I don't know though. I really don't.
I think it's a 3-digit number.
Is it?
If you're higher, I do.
Okay,
but
that shows how smart I am.
I don't know. You know what? Neither one of us can have access to our phones right now, so we can't look it up. But we will look it up after this, and maybe we'll come back and reinsert that.
Oh my God!
Because it would be funny to know.
The whole thing about it is, after the conversation, I walked away, and I thought it's funny because I have no idea what my IQ is, and I don't really know that I want to know. And as I kind of ruminated on that, it's like I don't know that I want to know, because if my IQ is low, then that might stop it may feel like I can't accomplish the things that I can accomplish if I have no idea. If you don't know, the sky's the limit. You can run for whatever, but if somebody puts a label on you and says, your IQ is only this, then it might hold me back from something.
Or make you feel bad.
Or make me feel dumb. Me feel...
And we don't need more things to make us feel dumb.
Oh, God forbid, no.
And if it were high, would you feel like maybe you weren't living up to your potential, so to speak?
Well,
and I'm doing
possibly.
That with
the thing that hit me that I thought about was that if it's too high, would I judge other people? So if my IQ was high, would I put myself above somebody else?
Well, in general, no. But I get what you're saying.
Yeah, because if you have a high IQ and most people do not, would you think you're better than somebody else? It's like the whole pondering of all of it was like, if my IQ's too low, would it hold me back? If my IQ's too high, would I think myself above somebody else? And I think it just kind of put all of that running through my mind, and that I don't ever want to limit myself, and I don't ever want to limit other people or feel like I'm better than somebody else in some way, because maybe I have more brain intelligence, when I know other people have intelligence in other areas, which I do love what you talked about with Roger Hamilton's test, because we all have intelligence in different ways in different areas.
Well, and I think the IQ test that you were having this conversation with really is more about not necessarily artistic or and maybe some artistic, but you know what I'm saying, emotional creativity.
No,
I think it's more intelligence for your ability to learn, possibly understand, things like that. And we're all good in certain areas. Yep. And we had this little bit of conversation when we went on a walk one day.
Yeah, which brought us back to this. Yeah.
Which brought us back to this. And the thing is that we need in every aspect of our lives, we need all types of people, regardless of their IQ, because we all need each other. I remember, and I don't know why I'm thinking about this now, but I remember when I was pregnant with my daughter, and somehow they found out through, you go in all the time and you're getting your blood tested and stuff, that I had come in contact with the cytomegalovirus virus. And what
is that?
Cytomegalovirus virus is kind of the same as Epstein-Barr and mono. So they're cousins and stuff. Okay. And so they can, if you get it in utero, it can cause severe mental retardation and stuff.
Wow, scary.
If you get it as a youngster, an adult, where you have an immune system, it can just attack your immune system, and now you'll have problems, kind of like Epstein-Barr and kind of stuff. They're all like married together.
Okay.
So anyways, what they couldn't tell is, of course, is this a virus that I came in contact because I have the antibodies to it? Or was it while I was pregnant?
Interesting.
So I'm about 6 months pregnant at this point.
Wow.
And I remember thinking, if my daughter is born with Down syndrome, what does that mean? And I remember coming to a place thinking, that would be beautiful, because I've had experience with people that were Down syndromes, and they're so incredibly emotionally wonderful.
Yeah.
So
intelligent, emotionally, totally above so many people.
Again, and so loving and stuff. So when you put it in aspects like that, like, what does IQ mean? If your IQ is, say, really high, whatever that is, are you better than the person that was born with Down syndrome or something like that, or the inability to comprehend and understand in the same way that maybe a normal, quote unquote, again, if you're seeing us, is that make you better?
Right.
How could it?
Right. Well, which gives people, it's kind of like Hitler, he was, the people that were what he deemed
blonde hair, blue eyed,
something other than that,
beautiful.
People who were mentally handicapped, people who had any kind of defect were gassed because they just kind of were a defect on the human race. But that is just so not true. And I think that understanding that intelligence is a rounded thing, that it is not just what your brain can process. Mm-hmm. And I have to say I'm thankful for the people that have high IQs because they discover things that some of us would never discover. They think in ways that some of us would never think. And I appreciate that. I'm grateful for that as a whole, as a community.
I would venture to say that a lot of people with very high IQs probably have some form of what we call in our society today ADD or ADHD as well. And they're like genius. Yeah. Right?
Or even autism or those kinds of things.
The spectrum of
where
Asperger's
socially
and
they may
autism.
be very unintelligent.
Or they learn
practically they may be very unintelligent, and sometimes I've heard that people that are very, very smart practically have no
social skills,
no sense even. Yes. And because everything is all here in their head, which is still beautiful.
Yeah.
It's just that we all need each other. And I think it just took me down a track that the value of people and the kind of not wanting to put a label on myself or on other people. And just appreciating the things and the gifts that they have that are worth more than a number.
Well, we need the people that can come up with things and create and, are brilliant and can figure out numbers and figure out science and medical stuff. And we need these brilliant people. And then we need the people that we go to a restaurant and they serve us, or they come over and they clean your house, or they, work on your car.
Jesus said the greatest among you.
Build our buildings, or, build our furniture. Or we need people to do all these things, because the person that's out there totally creating, if he's not able to do that because he's got to go and do these other things, how does that work for them?
Yeah, and the greatest among you is a servant of all. We need to understand that also, that he who is greater serves others. And that is so, not appreciated.
No.
But we appreciate all of you servers. We just want you to know that. And all of us.
People that
we have served. Yeah. And may we continue to serve. And all of us serve, because that is so important. But it's just interesting how that kind of led me down that little thought process. I don't know if everybody else knows what their IQ is. I don't think that we have standard tests for IQ. It must just be,
there is.
If they think people are smart, they just send them off to have that test to find out how smart they are.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's not like I ever took a test in school that I can remember that told me what my IQ was.
I don't either.
You could probably go online and take it. I don't really care to know, to be honest. Just like I said, for the reasons that I stated, I don't care what my IQ is.
Right.
I just want to think I'm really smart.
Well, you are in many different ways.
People that are smarter than me
in different ways. I can step into a room and feel like I have this, camaraderie with people, and we're all on the same level, and everything is great. And then I can go into another room and go, I need to keep my mouth shut, because these people have, and then this happens to me often, as you know, we've talked about this before. I go to dinner many times with people that are just in the business world, or what other intelligence have made a lot of money, or
own their own businesses,
know a lot about history and business and what's going on in the government and all these other things. And so those are the moments where my true intelligence comes out. Is I know to keep quiet and listen. Those are the moments when it's time for me to listen and learn. And then there's other times where in my element, I'm the person that people are listening to and needing the information from. And so it's a give and take. And
just social intelligence, I think, is really huge. Being able to just kind of connect with people. You really have that. I think both of us are very much connectors. And so I think our intelligence levels in that arena are probably pretty high, just because we love people and we like to connect with people. But it just depends upon your temperament, I guess, and your personality. But yeah, I mean, learning to know when